Hey, St. Luke's. This is Kat and Miss Reenie here today, and we wanted to provide some story time for while we're home this week. We know we can't do family service quite the way we had planned, but we wanted to give all of our families some opportunity to think about some things and do some activities. So here is our first of 3 stories.
I thought we'd start with this story because it's about a little mouse who decides to stay home, and we're all sort of staying home right now. So I thought that would be appropriate. All right, usually I tell this story in the fall, but right now we're going to tell it in the spring. All right. Once upon a time, there was a little mouse, and he went for a walk along a path, and he saw a great big orange pumpkin face. Oh, he said, "What in the world is this?" he wondered. He was poking around, smelling, peeking, when along came an hoo, hoo, owl. Oh, the little mouse was so frightened, he jumped right inside that pumpkin house, and he tucked his tail in. And the owl, he couldn't get to that little mouse. Woo! So he flew away. There you go. Now Mousekin said to himself, "This is a very, very nice house. I am safe and cozy and warm in here. This is wonderful." And then he decided to clean it out. So he swept the inside and threw out all the old seeds. And then he said, "I need some things for the winter. I need warm things." And so first he gathered leaves. He gathered a yellow leaf, 1, and an orange leaf, 2, and a red leaf, 3. Oh, they are like cozy blankets. And then he saw laying on the ground a feather. Oh, this is softy soft to keep me cozy. And he put the feather in. And just, whoopsie, pulled it back in again. And just as he was starting to think he had enough things, along came a kitty cat. Meow! And no cats like to chase mice. Oh! Mousekin pulled himself in his house, and the kitty cat couldn't get him. Meow! Mousekin was safe inside, and the kitty cat walked away. Oh, this house is just perfect. Well, pretty soon along came his friend, Whitebird. Whitebird flew down from the sky and said, "Tweet, tweet, tweet." He said, "Mousekin, you need to be somewhere safe for the winter." And Mousekin said, "I am somewhere safe. This is my new house and I'm staying inside." "Okay," said Whitebird, and flew away. Mousekin then decided, "Oh, I need one more thing to stay inside for winter. I need food." And he poked around and peeked around and found some berries, my favorite. And he gathered enough berries for the whole winter. "There," he said, "I think I'm all set to stay inside." And just as he was about to shut his door, along came his friend Bunny. "Hello?" "Oh, hello, Rabbit." "Oh, you need to get inside for the winter. You need a house." "Oh, I have a house. I have food and warm things and cozy things. This is my house." "Oh, good," said Rabbit. "I'll see you in the springtime. I'll see you in the springtime." Rabbit hopped away to his house, and Mousekin pulled himself inside and said, "Good night, everyone. Here I go into my cozy house." And he tucked himself inside. Now there's something special that happens with pumpkins as they get a little bit older, as they start to decay a little bit. Maybe you've seen it happen with your own Halloween jack-o'-lantern. Let's see if we can make it happen to this pumpkin. All right, watch his eyes and mouth and nose. Oh, look at that. He's shrinking up and getting nice and tight and cozy so that when Mousekin goes to sleep, he's very safe inside. And when the snow and the rain fall, Mousekin is safe and warm and cozy until spring comes, and then Mousekin can come running out and run around outside again. And that's the end of that story of Mousekin and his special house that keeps him safe. And I was thinking that we could think about this special house that keeps us safe in our own houses that are keeping us nice and cozy and safe right now. And if you want to, you can even make a special house in your imagination or on a piece of paper about a beautiful room that's just for you, filled with all the things you love. And that's something you can do on your own for a little while if you want to. And that's all, Kat.
So for our second story, while things are go ahead. You're good.
You go ahead. No,
I was going to say we're ready for our second story from Miss Reenie.
Thank you, Kat. And this story is about what it means to be real, which is a really big question. It's from this book called Frederick's Fables. And fables often ask big questions or talk about big questions in little stories. And these are by Leo Leone. And this is a beautiful story about being real, a real friend in a real time. And right now things might feel a little different and unreal. And so we thought we'd talk about what is real. Okay, so this is the story of Alexander. Alexander was a little mouse. He lived inside a house in a little mouse hole. Well, the people in the house didn't much care for Alexander. He came out every day to look for food and snacks and the things he needed. And the people would greet him with broomsticks and chasing him and screaming, "Eek!" Oh, Alexander thought, they don't like me at all. It made him sad to not be liked. But he just went on living his life. And one day, when he was out exploring the house, he went up to an upstairs bedroom. It was the little girl in the house's bedroom. Her name was Annie. And Alexander peeked in the room, and he saw another mouse. It was a little bit of a different looking mouse. Alexander said, "Hi, I'm Alexander. Who are you?" And the mouse said, "Well, I'm Willie. I'm Willie the wind-up mouse." "Oh," said Alexander, "do you live here?" And Willie said, "Oh, yes, I live right here in this room. I crawl up on top of the bed. I'm the little girl's favorite toy. She sleeps with me every night. Everybody loves me." "Oh," said Alexander, "well, that's wonderful, Willie. I guess it's a little different for me. Nobody in this house loves me." "Oh," said Willie, "well, that's too bad." But pretty soon, they got to be just the best of friends. And Alexander grew to love Willie just as everybody else in the house did. And Alexander visited Willie every day. One day, Willie told Alexander something amazing. He said, "Guess what, Alexander? I have heard about a lizard who can change one thing into another, who can change one animal into another." "Really?" said Alexander. And Alexander began to think about this. He thought maybe he could change me into a wind-up mouse like Willie. Oh! He ran right out into the garden and he called, "Lizard, lizard," and a magical lizard appeared. And Alexander said, "Lizard, lizard, is it true that you could change me into another animal?
And the lizard said, when the moon is round and the pebble is found.
What? Said Alexander.
When the moon is round and you have a purple pebble, visit me in the gardens.
Just like that, the lizard vanished.
Oh, said Alexander, good heavens. Oh, I'm going to find that pebble right now.
Alexander looked for days and days, and he found every color of pebble except purple. He found every other color there was, but no purple. Oh, he was sad when he walked back into the house. I'll never get to be a wind-up mouse like Willie, he thought. Never. He walked into the house, and there in the corner of the kitchen, he saw something that he didn't recognize. He looked over and he said, "Oh, what's this?" It was a box of toys, and on the top of the toys sat Willie.
And Alexander said, Willie, what are you doing in that box?
And Willie said, "Well, it's kind of a sad story. Annie had a birthday party, and she got all new toys. And now they're throwing out so many of the old toys, and I'm one of them."
"Oh no," said Alexander. "Oh no."
And then out of the corner of his eye, Alexander spied a purple pebble.
"Oh, look at this. I found it."
He ran out into the garden again.
He called, "Lizard, lizard."
He looked up in the sky. The moon was round, and the lizard appeared.
Yes, what do you wish? The moon is round, the pebble found. Tell me your wish.
"Oh," said Alexander, I wish to turn myself into," wait,
He thought again.
"Lizard, could you please turn Willie into a real mouse like me?"
And with a great big clap and a big flash of light, the lizard and the purple pebble disappeared.
"Oh, I wonder if it worked," said Alexander.
He walked back into the house, and he looked for the box with Willie in it. And he found the box in the corner, but now it was empty.
"Oh no," said Alexander. "I made my wish too late. Willie is gone."
He walked sadly to his little mouse hole, and he peeked inside. And from the inside, he heard squeak, squeak. Alexander was a little frightened.
"What's that noise? What is that? Who's there?"
And out from his mouse hole peeked another mouse.
And the mouse said, "Hi, I'm Willie." "Oh," said Alexander, "Willie, it worked."
And the two mice ran outside and danced in the moonlight all night long, rejoicing in their friendship and in being real. And that's the end. So, if you want to, what I thought you guys could do at home is go find a special stone that you have, or if you're still going outside, you could look for a special stone outside. Lucy brought me this stone, which is one that we have, that has a fossil in it that she found at the beach. And so that stone is kind of special to us. And if you take a turn with the pebble, you could hold it and make a wish and talk about what it means to be real, what it means to be a real friend. Because sometimes it's hard to tell what it means to be a real friend. And talk about what it means to be in a real time, because now we're safe and cozy in our houses, but that feels a little confusing. So anyway, sometimes a special rock can make you remember what real is, especially if you hold on tight.
Thanks, Miss Reenie.
Yeah. Okay, we are back with our third story. And this week's gospel is about Jesus being with someone and healing someone who's a little bit different in his community. And so Miss Reenie has a book about community and differences.
Well, all right, so this book is by Sonia Sotomayor. She's a Supreme Court Justice. And in this book, she talks about things that made her feel different as a little girl and that made her also not just feel different, but also she feels like it's part of what made her grow into a strong and courageous person. So she talks about all our differences also being our special gifts that make us each unique and make us each strong and make us each brave. So we're going to build a little garden up here. And at the end, I'm going to tell you how you could build your own garden with your family. So here we go. If we were all together, I'd have you guys help me with these flowers, but I'm going to have to do it all by myself. Hi, I'm Sonia. My friends and I are planting a garden. Gardens are magical places. Thousands of plants bloom together, but every flower, every berry, and every leaf is different. Each has a different smell, color, shape, and purpose. Kids are all different too. Some of us are in a hurry, and others take more time. Some of us seem shy and quiet, while others are chatty and loud. Some of our differences are easy to spot, and others take longer to notice. Each of us grows in our own way, so if you are curious about other kids, just ask. All right, now this is Sonia sitting in our first flower here. Not everyone is comfortable answering questions about themselves, but I don't mind. What am I doing? Several times a day, I prick my finger to measure the sugar in my blood, and I give myself shots of medicine called insulin. I do this because I have diabetes, and my body doesn't make insulin naturally like other people's. Even though this can sometimes hurt, I gather all of my courage to do it to be healthy. So we're going to give Sonia a flower up here. That's Sonia. Here we go to the next person. My name is Raphael, and I have asthma, which means I sometimes have trouble breathing. When that happens, I take a break and use an inhaler, which makes my breathing easier. Quiet time helps me slow down and catch my breath. So here's a flower for Raphael. I'm Anthony, and I use a wheelchair to get around. Even though I can't run with my legs, I can go super fast. So here is a flower for super fast Anthony. My name is Madison, and my guide dog helps me get places safely because I am blind. My friend Arturo is blind too. He uses a cane to get around. Even though we can't see, we strengthen our other senses and notice lots of details others may miss. We can hear with our ears, smell with our noses, and feel with our hands. All right, so we have a flower for Madison and a flower for Arturo. Our garden is already getting really big. I'm VJ. I learn about the world differently because I can see, but I can't hear. I'm deaf. Most of the time I communicate with people using my face and hands through sign language. It's cool to know another language. So this is a flower for VJ who knows that special language that he can use his whole body to speak. I'm Bianca and I have dyslexia. So I have to work really hard and take my time when I'm reading and writing words. Sometimes I use computer programs to help me. I love learning by doing things. My imagination is full of ideas, and I'm very good at making art from the pictures I see in my mind. And that's a flower for Bianca, who loves to draw and is dyslexic. I'm great at dinosaurs. I know all about them. I'm Jordan and I have autism. Organizing and counting all my toy dinosaurs again and again makes me feel calm. My classmate Tiana also has autism, but it's different for her. She doesn't talk, but I like to talk. I especially like to talk about dinosaurs. So here's a flower for Jordan, who loves to talk, and a flower for Tiana, who also has autism, but likes to be quiet. For me, listening comes more easily than talking, and I'm a really good listener. My name is Anne, and I speak with a stutter, so I sometimes repeat a word or get stuck when I try to say it. It may take me a little longer to express myself, and sometimes I'm too shy to talk, but I understand everything that's going on. That flower is for Anne, who stutters and finds it harder to talk than to listen. My name is Julia. Sometimes I wiggle or make sounds that I can't control because I have Tourette's syndrome. People may look at me funny because they think I am not paying attention or just acting out, but it's not true. I am listening. I don't always like having to explain. It frustrates me, but it helps when I tell people that it's just what my body does. And there's a flower for Julia, who sometimes gets twitchy because she has Tourette's syndrome. My name is Manuel, and I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It is also called ADHD. I can get frustrated when I really feel the need to move around, even though I'm supposed to sit still. When my teachers and friends are patient with me, if I forget something or get distracted, I can get myself back on track. So this is for Manuel, who has ADHD, but has learned how to get himself back on track even when it's hard. I'm Nolan. It's helpful to me when the food I eat has a clear label that says it's nut-free because I'm allergic to nuts. They can make me so sick that I would have to go to the hospital if I ate any, even by accident. So I always tell people about my allergy and ask if any food has nut ingredients. Speaking up keeps me healthy. So this flower is for Nolan, who's learned to find his voice and speak up about his nut allergy. I love to sing and I love to talk. I love to make new friends and be included. I am Grace. I was born with Down syndrome. Kids like me with Down syndrome have an extra building block called a chromosome in our bodies. But we are all different from each other too. I can do almost anything other kids can do, though learning new things can take some time. So this is a flower for Grace, who needs a little extra time to learn because she has Down syndrome. And now we're back to Sonia, our first flower. It's me, Sonia, again. I ask questions too. When something seems different or new, I just ask my parents or my teachers and they help me to understand. Imagine if all the plants in this garden were exactly the same. Like, what if we could only see one kind of flower, or if we could only pick one kind of fruit or vegetable? It wouldn't be a very amazing garden. But because we are celebrating everyone and every one of our differences, we have this amazing garden that Sonia helped us build with her book, of all the beautiful people and all the amazing differences and all the amazing things they can do. And I would like to encourage you to build a special garden like this at home. If we were together at St. Luke's for the family service, I was going to have us build our gardens together maybe that day and talk about the things that make us special and different and make us build this beautiful garden community. But now you're going to have to do it at home with your family. So I encourage everyone in the family to make a beautiful flower. You can just use colored paper or you can use felt like these are if you want to. And then you can glue them down. And if you feel like it, it would be wonderful if you could write your name on the flower and maybe say what makes you special or different. Grown-ups too. So I was thinking about when I was a little girl, and one thing that was really hard for me was to hear in loud places like swimming pools or gyms. I just couldn't understand what people said. So I'm giving myself a flower for learning to be a really good listener, even when it was hard to hear. And my kids gave me permission to put up flowers for them. To put up a flower for Lucy, some of Lucy, who she had a hard time learning to make an S sound or a sh sound. And she did a lot of hard work to learn to make those sounds. So much work that she can even sing in the choir. And Steve has a peanut allergy and ask about food to make sure it's safe. And then there's one more flower for our family garden, which would be my husband, John. And I know that when he was a little boy, he had a really hard time sitting still. And so he spent a lot of time running around and trying to get himself calm so that he could sit and learn and do the things he had to. And I would love, if when we get back to St. Luke's, I would love to see any gardens that you all built together.
That would be so wonderful, Miss Reenie. Thank you so much for all of these stories today. This has been just a great way for us to have some activities and stories and do a family service when we can't all be together.